India is proposing closing the door on foreign technology imports in order to boost domestically manufactured brands. Joining me now is reporter Amal Sharma from New Delhi. Okay, Amal, if this is all true and India actually goes through with this, what does it mean for the likes of IBM and Dell?
Well, if this goes through, and again, these are only draft rules that are being worked through in the Indian government, but this would dramatically impact the business models of several big Western tech companies. You mentioned IBM, Cisco, which doesn't have manufacturing capacity in India, would be significantly affected, and also big telecom equipment makers like Ericsson and Nokia, Siemens. So if the rules went into effect the way the government has drafted them, it would be draconian. I mean, it would really be a severe change from the current situation. But of course, this could all be just a really tough negotiating position by India.
Okay, and if it does go through, a big if, of course, one of the things that is stipulated is that these foreign companies could set up manufacturing plants inside India in order to be able to sell in the market. One could argue that's quite a good strategy of India, on India's part, to really drive manufacturing onshore.
Yeah, I mean, you can see India's goal here. It's a country that has a lot of services employees in technology. IBM has some 100,000 employees here. There's a huge IT outsourcing sector here. But what they're trying to do is employ people in rural areas or migrants to small towns who are less educated. And those are really the people India is trying to put to work. And they believe that manufacturing and technology, if they could do it, would employ millions of people. So they're coming from the right place on that. The issue is that the companies say, hey, just entice us a little bit, give us tax incentives and investments, and lay better roads and put up electricity networks that are more stable. And we will set up factories here. We want to be here. But don't force us with a mandate to set up a factory when you're not even ready and don't have the ecosystem to support it.
Okay, and I was actually trying, when I was reading the story, I was trying to think of the domestically made brands that would compete with the likes of Cisco, Dell, IBM, and I actually couldn't think of any. So what are the brands like? Are they able to compete with these bigger, technology giants, and are they well placed to do so?
There aren't any well-known Indian equipment, telecom, and technology equipment companies by global standards. And so if these policies went into effect, you'd suddenly have these tiny companies having to produce an amount of equipment on a scale that none of them are doing anything close to right now to meet the country's demand. And we're talking about everything from Wi-Fi devices to laptops to tablets to all the guts of corporate computer networks, which are things like routers and switches. These things right now, some of them, companies like Cisco provide 80% of the technology used in Indian companies in some of those categories. So tomorrow, how would India fill that? Just doesn't have the domestic companies to do it right now.
Okay, so what's the likeliness at the end of the day that something like this will actually pass?
I think there's a likelihood that some flavor of this will go into law. India has shown a trend towards these sorts of import restrictions to try to jumpstart manufacturing. They did it in the solar power industry. They've done it before. They see it as emulating things China has done, and so they feel like there's precedent. I don't think there's a very high likelihood that all of the restrictions that are in this proposal will go into effect. I think the aggressive lobbying by the foreign companies and just the impractical nature of them will finally water them down a little bit and scale them back.
It certainly would be a very dramatic change. Thanks very much, Amal Sharma, joining us from New Delhi. For more on that story, you could go to WSJ.com. I'm Deborah Kahn. Thanks for watching.